Good evening. My name is David Blacksmith. I am the Executive Director for On the Road to Wellness in Manchester and Derry. And we also host um, Step Up, Step Down. And yeah, that's who I am. That's what I'm doing. Did I just say that right? Because I'm trying to do two things at the same time. So
I think so.
There we go.
Uh,
Okay. What
Thank you.
happened? Can anybody see the screen?
Yeah, it just hasn't popped to the presentation mode. I saw you hit from beginning, but we're still sleep. There it is. Oh, now we've got the presenter mode, but that's okay, David. Take it away.
Hold on a second. It's gotta be everybody.
So
All right.
presenter view is checked. If you look along the toolbar there under monitor, it says automatic and then use presenter view. Well, let's see, or maybe I'm messing that up.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
Okay. We're a patient crowd.
Let's see here. So everybody can see the screen, correct?
We can.
Okay. How about if I just play it safe and just do it this way?
That
That's
works,
fine. That's fine.
works for us.
All right. So we didn't pre-rehearse, going back and forth and sharing slides, but so Ken, you can feel free to jump in anytime. And pretty much I'm going to go through these slides, tell you what these programs are about and what they're like, and we'll do the Q&A at the end if that's all right with everybody. All right, that way, yeah. So, what is Step Up, Step Down? It's a new program. It's definitely in its pilot stage. It's a 3-bed recovery. I'm going to do my best not to read these, but 3-bed recovery-oriented program with a length of stay up to 90 days. It's for individuals, who are either coming out of a higher level of care, something such as New Hampshire Hospital, or maybe they don't want to get, don't need to, and it's kind of instead of emergency room boarding type of thing. So that would be the step up piece. Of the step down is coming out of something like New Hampshire Hospital. There are 4 of us in the state: Keene, Manchester, Nashua, and the Portsmouth area. All of these are non-clinical, non-medical models. We very much are operated with the model of intentional peer support, with leaning into RAP and other SAMHSA core competencies. Each of the programs are staffed by certified peer support specialists, at least at a minimum of 1. Most of us are moving towards having everyone that is on staff to be certified peer support specialist. It's staffed 24/7 to be able to provide our guests with supports that they need throughout the day, even at 2 a.m. if they just need someone to talk to. They can sit in the living room, watch Gilmore Girls, and chit chat type of thing, get some supports. We are funded by state's funding. That comes from the general fund from the state. Benefits. It's genuinely provides, as it says, it provides a more gradual and better planned return to the community, increasing chances of successful recovery and reducing the risk of readmission. As we'll see at the end, there is a video at the end. It's about 3 minutes long that we put together, and hopefully that shares some of this little piece here, where our guests really have the opportunity to relax, really have the opportunity to connect with another peer. And that's probably the single greatest benefit that the guests receive, is being able to work out that transition from wherever they were to wherever they want to be, back to independent living with supports 24/7. That's non-clinical. It's very relaxed. It's a home light environment. Each of us, so 2 of the 4 of us have the Step Up, Step Down within the same physical facility as their peer support center, and the other 2, that would be Portsmouth and ourselves. Ours are separate. We have separate facilities for that, but we still provide access and encouragement for our guests to participate in our peer support centers and get the supports that they need in a group type setting. We don't do any groups in Step Up, Step Down. We don't do any of that type of thing, but we do that at our peer centers. So the guests at both Monadnock and Nashua have immediate access to that. Both of us, that type of thing. Yeah, this is definitely a supportive environment. Everyone is very motivated by it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very self-driven program, whereas it's not even us as peers, coming alongside, making suggestions, that type of thing. It's really driven by the individual themselves and what they want to accomplish in that 90 days. Obviously, the housing piece is important. And I guess it would be it's not in any of these slides, but I'll say it, that the truth is these Step Up, Step Down programs are not necessarily a housing program. It is really more of a wellness program with a housing component. So we really emphasize individuals being able to find the supports that they need while they're looking for housing. So that's what we like to say. Yeah, we absolutely support connections and not only just allow but encourage access to community-based clinical treatments. Providers, we're in a place where individuals can still connect with their providers, whether that's in person. We provide each of our sites have computers. We have with privacy type of thing. We also have iPads, so individuals can engage with their providers in a privacy type of thing virtually if necessary, or that's what they want to do. So those things take place regularly. The overall program support, again, it's a very much of a home-like environment. You'll see at the end when we show this video that ours is different. Ours is very much a home. It's a house. Each of the four of us, we all look a little bit different and feel a little bit different, but the internals of each one is very much cozy, home-like, independent, private rooms, kitchen, that type of thing, all the amenities that somebody would have if they're in their own home. And again, that's providing that home-like environment where someone can step down from an inpatient stay or step up to it if they require a higher level of support, maybe a means of diversion, so they don't necessarily have to be there and do that. Who is it for? Adults 18 or over who are experiencing mental health or co-occurring challenges. Individuals who experience mental health crisis that's worsening, even with their current supports and services, so we're there for them. Or individuals who hospitalized can benefit from an intermediate step between inpatient and returning. I sound like I've repeated myself on that. So what can each of our guests or anybody that's referring our guests, what can they expect? Everyone has their own private bedroom. There are shared common areas such as the kitchen, bathrooms, living room, things of that nature. Not a locked facility, so guests can come and go as they please. The guests are encouraged to engage in peer support program, as I mentioned earlier. And they are also encouraged to, they get the support in making community connections as well. Community connections could be just even family, friends, or as well as their clinical supports that they might need or want. Already mentioned that earlier, but the connections, the Portsmouth one is actually located in Northwood. Hearts is right in Nashua, Monadnock is in Keene, and us in Manchester as well. So we're pretty much located in the southern part of the state. And how does somebody make a referral? That's the common question. It's really just a phone call and sending the standard referral form. All four of us use the same. We spent a lot of time on the front end when I'm standing this up to develop a relatively comprehensive referral form. So that can be found on, I believe, all of our websites. We've done our best to distribute it around so that people can have it on their servers and have easy access to make that referral. And then after the referral's done, someone from the clinical world might make that referral. doesn't necessarily have to be a clinical role. Even, truth be told, even a peer support agency can make that referral. But once that referral's done, then it's 100% engaged with our staffs, with the individual, with the guests themselves, and having that conversation. A little bit of screening takes place, and yeah, trying to make that determination if it's a good fit. So I think this would be an appropriate time for the video. Hopefully you can all see and hear the sound. I'm not hearing the sound, so you
At Step Up, Step Down, we give people that place to heal while they can still be part of their.
I'm going to pause. Did anybody hear that? You
Yes,
can't-
we can.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, good deal. All right.
At Step Up, Step Down, we give people that place to heal while they can still be part of their community.
We're kind of a transitional program for people who are either coming out of a psychiatric hospitalization, that would be like the step down part, or they might be trying to avoid going to a psychiatric hospital, and that would be like coming from the community and stepping up to a program that offers more support.
We're meant to look like real life. We're very much home. I'm somebody that has been in hospitals, and it was a really, really challenging experience. There are definitely limits to how much you can heal and discover yourself in an environment like that. So by having a true home in the community with peers running it, I'd like to think that we set people up to really heal in a way that can then translate to the rest of their life.
People also before this didn't really identify how hard it can be from leaving the hospital. Like, cool, you feel better, but you're just going back to your normal life. It can be a bridge between the hospital and going back home.
The program is 100% free for individuals coming in as a guest. There's no insurance requirement. There's no co-payments. We do our level best to remove as many barriers as possible for an individual to find the supports and to help them succeed.
Here, people have the opportunity to stay with us for up to 90 days at a time. Our peers are here 24 hours a day, so no matter what time of day it is, if somebody needs support, they have access to it.
Things that people might not have told someone else or felt that it was okay to talk about, you can talk about it in here.
Everything that we've tried to do here, including the space itself, we wanted it to feel hopeful, comfortable, peaceful, and a place to move forward.
We're really trying to create the space for the thing we needed when it wasn't there for us. And we want to make our community stronger because this exists now.
I love getting to remind myself and my peers every day that we get to choose who we are. We get to choose what we want our lives to be. I'm just so incredibly happy that we have this home and this space to provide people a place where they can begin that journey.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, David. And Ken, do you want to share now and give us your piece of this presentation?
David presented it well, and that's such a great video. I just kudos on that. Most of us took advantage of the free video and put it all on our website. So thank you for the hard work, David. Yeah, it's something that we've been working on for quite a few years, and finally, Ayla Kendall, credit to her at DHHS, at BMHS, to really take a healthy risk on creating this community service that was well needed. As you know, there's not much residential or transitional programs in the state. Now they're starting to open, and the mental health centers are opening community beds, which is great. But this was kind of difficult for us, and we were given this opportunity in the middle of a pandemic. So I know that we opened in mid-May, and a lot of us followed after that. So we had the challenge, but we were very dedicated in ensuring this piece was given to the community and us as peers to have this opportunity of an alternative program and a transitional program. It's a little more goal orientated, so it's voluntary, it's total voluntary program. That's why we meet with them and talk to them and kind of like a proactive conversation with them to ensure that they're, since we only have 3 beds, we want to make sure that we can be a good success for them or be a part of their success while they stay with us. So we tend to have in Nashua a challenge, and David spoke on the housing challenge. We have a big challenge with housing in Nashua, even in the middle of a pandemic where, housing is like lower than 1% per capita, that we were finding that a lot of folks needed either step up or step down into an apartment or finding apartment. There was a lot of vouchers giving out during the pandemic and still now, and there just a soft place to land for folks to help them transition to finding a permanent residence was crucial for us. I mean, most of the folks that come through our program have transitioned into housing, either by themselves or with a roommate. So we were lucky and we're blessed to be in a community in the greater Nashua area, to be connected with our mental health center, and some of the hospitals and some of the emergency services around here. So we all kind of work together, and we were all growing and developing during this step up, step down pilot program. We were kind of growing together. Mobile Crisis was setting up a new location with their beds. And so it kind of worked hand in hand together to make a better success story for our community anyway. I know that for sure.
Thank you, Ken. Now, how about questions for Ken and David?
Yeah, shoot them out there.
Hi, it's Adele again. I had a question. You said, I gotta say, I love the presentation. I love this program, like all of it. It's beautiful, and I'm really glad to see that it's funded with general fund dollars, if nothing else. So the funding is coming from somewhere. But I was curious. You kept saying co-occurring. So it was mental health or co-occurring. So I just didn't know what role substance misuse and substance treatment might have in this or not.
Yeah, that's a legit question. Everybody still hears me okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, only because
Thank
I'm
you.
wrestling with my stuff today. My computer
doing
crashed.
great.
My computer crashed me 3 days ago, so I'm working with new tools. Anyway, yes. So when we say co-occurring, it means that primarily, and we do mean primarily, if like 85% of the individuals stuff that they're working with is mental health, but if they have some substance use things going on in their life, that's not going to exclude them, right? But we are not primarily
Okay, that's a great distinction.
we're not
Okay.
primarily substance use.
And then you may have said this, but I kind of was jotting down questions, and a couple you answered along the way. Is there, I hate to say it like this, but a time limit for the bedroom availability for a person?
Well, yeah, I'll say it this way. If you're saying the availability, so obviously you're kind of asking, do people, when they call, if we're full, is there a waiting list type of thing?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I literally meant if once enrolled, is it like you have 90
Okay.
days to
90
move
days.
through the program and then you're out, or, oh, is
Yeah,
it 90 days? I was
it
just
is-
grabbing
it
that
is-
out of the sky.
So
Okay.
it is up to 90 days. We've had people
Oh,
leave in
thank you.
60 or 65 days, but 90 days is, yes, that's it.
Up to 90.
Similar
Okay.
to respite, we have a couple of our programs have respite. In fact, we invented it in the state of New Hampshire, and it's national now. But it's something that we could ask the state, oh, this is the situation, they need a little more time. We ask
Might need
for
a
a waiver,
waiver or something. Yeah.
then,
Okay.
yeah. So there is a process that I think we've done it once or twice. So
Okay,
it-
great.
it
Thank
is
you
a
both.
Possibility to extend past 90 days.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Pam? You're muted, Pam.
I'm sorry. This is a curiosity question with both the step up and step down with only 3 beds and community, living space. I would think that somebody that needed the step up part would be a little different, hopefully, than somebody that was doing the step down. So I'm wondering if that creates an environment that might be more difficult to handle if you had 2 step ups and 1 step down. Does it raise the anxiety in the step down to be cohabitating with those who are in step up? And if that makes any sense, but that's my thought process at the moment.
Well, you're the first person to ask a question like that. That's actually pretty good. We have not found that to be a challenge. I think that at least I can speak on behalf of On the Road, is that at least my co-directors do an exceptional job of the interview piece, of trying to find out, discovering who the individual is, what are they like, how is this going to be, is it going to be a good fit? Is the program itself going to be a good fit? And will it be a good fit with the other, let's say, other 2 individuals that are in the house? We have, as a matter of fact, truth be told, at least in our experience, at all times, with the exception of once in the very beginning, but ever since, over at this about a year, all of the guests that are there, they've become a close-knit group, and they support each other amazingly, irregardless if they're stepping up or stepping down. They just discovered that they're all in the same boat, looking for the same thing, moving in different directions, obviously, but we have not found it to be a challenge. But now that you mention it, now it'll be a challenge next week. So thank you.
It speaks to the power of the peer experience, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Karen, did you have a question?
I did, but I didn't raise my hand or anything. So you have ESP. My question is a comment and a question. When I first heard about the step up, step down plan, and that it was going to be 12 beds around the state, I was unimpressed. I couldn't figure out how 12 beds was going to make much of a difference. However, I guess my question is how often are you full?
All the time.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah. So, again, Ken, I don't want to cut you short. You were talking.
Go ahead.
No. So let's go back to the first, your comment about the 12 beds. And it does seem small. And even when we were talking to our city officials and that type of thing, and talking about the program, what it is, and everybody says, what's the deal? 3 beds, you're really going to make a difference with 3 beds? Well, it does make a difference to the individuals that are getting that support, without a doubt. I mean, we already have testimonials that are just amazing. But it was very strategic in terms of the 3-bed limit, is because as soon as you hit 4 beds or more, licensure issues start to kick in, and we're not in that world, right? Yeah. Also, the truth is, when you hit 4 beds or more with unrelated people under the same building, then all of a sudden you have to have sprinkler systems and things of that nature. So it was very strategic in terms of making it as easy as possible to raise up facilities and being able to provide supports for these 12 individuals. With the exception of when we have gone through, some workforce issues, when we didn't have enough staff, that type of thing, we had to close for a little bit. We've always been full from day one. There's never been a bed empty, and so if anybody asks us the question, is the supply, enough for the demand? The demand is much, much, much higher than the supply is. So, we do get a lot of referrals. Not all the referrals are necessarily received because they're looking for something different than what we offer. But we always have at least a handful of individuals that are on the waiting list. Also, that waiting list doesn't last long because they probably have found something different or more than what they're looking for from the time that they called and the bed becomes available. But anyway, hopefully that adequately answers your question.
That was great. Thank you, David. Joanne Malloy did chime in. It becomes an institution if you get too big. And
And there's plans to expand 3 more beds in the state. So
So-
another site.
location to be determined. Yes?
Yeah, it's all part of the RFA process and we're not allowed to talk about that yet.
Okay, your lips are sealed. We get it.
Not till the governor signs off on stuff.
We'll wait. And Melissa asked, how do you get referrals? How do people know about you?
It's a great question. Yeah, at this particular juncture, it's really word of mouth, but getting like that's how we receive the referrals. Is how do the people even know that we exist? Is us participating in groups like this and getting the word out. Each of our websites has the referral form and the information necessary, as well as the videos, so somebody can do a quick 3-minute, see what this thing is about. Not just the referrer, like the clinician who may want to make the referral, but also the individuals like, oh, is this someplace that I actually want to go, type of thing. So we do, those things are available. Anybody in this virtual room, if you want our referral form and our information packet, please let me know, send an email, or even put it in the chat box. I'll try to write that down, copy that in some fashion, because then I'll just email you that packet and you can put it on your, even on your own computer or whatever agency you work for. You can have it on your server, easy access, immediate access to that. So yeah, we want to get that information in people's hands.
And Jace did ask about age. Liz answered it's 18 and over, correct,
That's
David and Ken?
That's correct.
No limit at the top. People loved the video, which it makes me teary. I've seen it a handful of times now, and it's just an amazing video. So well done.
Thank you.
And David, you talked about you were fortunate to find an industrial zone, a house in an industrial zone, which meant you didn't have to deal with people saying, I don't want that in my backyard.
Yeah.
The Portsmouth Northwood issue, people probably know that housing in Portsmouth is outrageously expensive. So our friends at Connections in Portsmouth were unable to find anything locally and had to keep moving out. And the housing market was atrocious a year plus ago. So that's why they ended up in Northwood. And there's the disconnect between the day programming at Connections Peer Support and the folks being out in Northwood.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to speak on their behalf, but they did. Part of that was strategic on their part too, was to try to be a little bit more centralized for their region, because Portsmouth is kind of on the outside edge of their region, so they also did that as well. And they wound up in a very nice very old farmhouse type of thing, and yeah, so they're.
Yeah, and very accessible. That one's right on Route 4. It's right next to Hannaford. So it's a very convenient location and a very lovely home. Nancy Fennell, you have your hand up?
Yeah, one question that I have for you all is the guests that are in your facilities, do they come from the local area, or have you had people come from other areas of the state? And just curious, if you do have them from other areas of the state, how do you manage with, if they do, I know you talked about having access to telehealth and things like that, but does that happen frequently?
Yeah, it has, at least for us. I can speak with, with intelligence for us that yes, we have had people from outside of our region. None of us, we don't work within a catchment area. So someone from Berlin can call us and say, hey, I want somebody to come down type of thing. So we can do, we do that. We work that out. We work out the logistics, and we have that conversation with the guest. Like, okay, you're in an area, that's for instance, we had somebody that was eligible to go to Keene, but they were full, but they really need someplace, so they came to us. And so they maintained their clinical relationships with telehealth. But fortunately, this individual also, his goal was, I need to get back to school. He wanted to get back to the school, and in the 90 days, he was actually to get back into enroll into school, and he wound up being resident in a school with, type of thing. So it didn't matter where he was at that particular point. So yes, that does happen. We don't operate in the catchment area, and we do our best, to ensure, that's part of the negotiating piece, is like, do you actually want to be here in Manchester, but you're coming from this particular region? How are we going to work that out? Because yeah, that's what we do. I'm just going to add this little piece because I see the question coming up in the chat about transportation. We do provide transportation. I'm not sure about, I can't speak again with intelligence about all four of us. I think we all four do, or at least we do our best, but yeah, we do provide, we try to do our best, as I kind of said that in the video presentation, do our level best to get rid of as many barriers as possible. So, provide transportation so they can get to where they need to be, But if somebody has a clinician that's in Berlin, we're not going to drive them to Berlin once a week. That we're not going to do. Sorry.
Within reason.
Yes.
Within
That's
reason.
part of the conversation, and I agree with David. I think we all provide that transportation service, but we do have that conversation about what's that going to look like and what your support's going to look like. Our first guest that came through our program in early May transitioned in June to Concord, and we assisted them and supported them in transitioning services to Concord, from Nashua to Concord, and to transition to an apartment safely there as well. So, and then we all kind of work together. Since we're limited to only 12 beds in the state, we cover the state, we talk with the individual to see if you want to try to see, like in David's case, where if you were wanting to go to Keene, but would you settle on Manchester? Would that be okay for you? Would that be a good fit? We all kind of refer the referrals back to each other internally.
So speaking of that referral form, David, I did Google, David and Ken, I just typed in step up, step down, and On the Road to Wellness pops up first. And when I clicked on that, I saw your referral form and your packet at the bottom of that website, David.
Correct.
So Ken, is the same true of yours? I didn't have enough time to go looking for more. I took the first one. Is yours the same?
What was the question again?
The referral form on the website?
Yes, we all use the same. David mentioned we worked hard to make sure that it was a proper referral form, because some of it is a clinical information, and we wanted to make sure that it was legal for the state, and they got the lawyer in the state okayed it. But more importantly, was it going to be user friendly for us and for peers?
Yep. So right on the websites, all people have to do is Google step up, step down. It's going to pop up. That form is on the first page of the On the Road to Wellness website. I assume it is for Hearts as well.
Yeah, the clinical referral form for providers is the same, but some of us have unique referral forms that we use for Hearts. Manchester's is a little different. And so I think Keene and the other program is as well. They kind of tailored it for their logos and some of the information that they want. They're kind of universal, but those will be different. So most of them have 2 referral forms.
Okay.
Hi, David.
Yeah, essentially, there is a universal referral form that everybody uses the same, but then each of our agencies have a different personality, type of thing to it. So there's kind of like the referral form plus an additional information form. So that's pretty much what's like.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what
for
you'll
that
find in the
description.
informational packet. All that stuff is the one piece.
Any other questions as we come to the end of our time with David and Ken?
But if you send that referral form, say from On the Road, we'll take it, and that's fine with us. If that, personality form is from them, we will use it.
Good to know. And Kim
So-
Murdoch says, would love to share the video on NAMI New Hampshire's communication platforms. Are you able to send a link to that video?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Well, it doesn't even have to be from our site. It's on YouTube. It's on, it's on several places for easy access. I do see a number of individuals that are asking for the referral forms, so I will do my best to garnish, I'll call these in and send them out. I'll make sure that I don't close my chat so I can get all these.
Excellent. Thank you very much. This was
Oh,
a
thank you.
wonderful, yes, I see we've got some praise going on here. Thank you so very much. I know there are folks tonight who were completely unaware of Step Up, Step Down, and now have a lot of really good information to go share with other folks and
Well,
to use.
thank you all for having us tonight, and yeah, it's so we really love the program that we're doing, and I can tell you firsthand that some of our guests have really done exceptionally well. So
Good to know.
it's a
You're,
worthwhile investment.
yes, you are part of the solution and we appreciate it.